My name is Ashley Harmon. I am the president of the Gazebo Players, and I have been involved in the organization for 20 years.
I'm Steve Small. I've been a member of Gazebo Players since the beginning. I was in the first show, Midsummer Night's Dream, 20 years ago, and have been involved in just about every show since.
I'm Cynthia Small, and I've been a member of the Gazebo Players, I guess, since just after the first show, A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Hi, my name is Julia Small. I have been a member of the Gazebo Players since its inception in 2001. I've been a board member for 5 years.
I'm Barbara Shapiro, and I have been with the Gazebo Players since its inception.
My name is Benjamin Medeiros, and I've been a member of the Gazebo Players since 2009.
I'm Christian Oberoi, and this is my first production with Gazebo Players.
My name is Marianne Finney, and I am the director of the current production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. And I also directed the first Gazebo Players production, which was A Midsummer Night's Dream 20 years ago.
While I don't have the Gazebo Players mission word for word, the Gazebo Players mission basically is to bring Shakespeare to the public, and we bring it to more than just Medfield. We have been invited to multiple towns to expand Shakespeare to more than just our little community here.
And not just to bring Shakespeare to the public, but bring it to the public for free. We do not charge an admission fee for any of our performances. Depending on the play itself that we're performing, a lot of them are family friendly and targeted toward people with families and kids.
I learned about the Gazebo Players by being introduced to Bob Ireland, the founder. I've always loved Shakespeare, and the first show they were mounting was Midsummer Night's Dream. I was thrilled to be a part of it, and at the time we had no idea that this group would continue for 20 years. Here I am again, 20 years later, and remounting the 20th anniversary production of Midsummer Night's Dream once again.
This year's production is a reprise of our very first show, which has been planned probably since year 10. Steve is wearing
The Year 10 shirt.
the Year 10 shirt, also directed by Marianne Finney, who was our first director. And we kept saying, you know, if we're here long enough, by year 20, we should do it again, particularly because Marianne, her vision was not to have little children as fairies. She was overruled on that by the producer. So this gives her the opportunity to go back and do the show kind of the way she always imagined it would be.
They wanted to do Midsummer Night's Dream, I think, because it's an easy show to do for audience appeal. Everybody knows the story. It's very popular. It's a comedy, so it's funny. And they also wanted to put in a lot of kids. They all had kids. Yeah, they were young at the time. So all the fairies were children in that production. Not in this production.
I was in that show. I was 9 years old. I played Mustard Seed, and we are doing that same show again this summer, Midsummer Night's Dream. This is, I think, the show that she wanted to direct 20 years ago, but we made her put kids in it. Although, in hindsight, I'm here now, so you're welcome. I am the stage manager this summer. I have not actually been to a rehearsal yet. In terms of preparation, I'm doing some other smaller pieces behind the scenes before I get to rehearsal. I am putting together the playbill and all of the props for this summer.
This is my first time performing with Gazebo Players, and I have to say I've been really impressed with what a close-knit community it feels like. You know, I've done a lot of shows where when people are off stage, they don't talk to each other or they have little cliques. This cast, I mean, it's a smaller cast, so we all sort of pitch in and do different things. There are a number of actors playing multiple roles. So it feels very collaborative, and it feels like people are really there to support each other. It's a very supportive community. I can see it feeling like a family for people that have been doing it a long time, because that's kind of the vibe of the group.
Absolutely. Everyone in the Gazebo Players is very much extended family at this point, down from our director this year to the rest of the board, to the audience, to the cast members.
In addition to Marianne Finney, who directed our first Midsummer Night's Dream 20 years ago, I was in the first production 20 years ago, and Barbara Shapiro was in the first production. So some of the people who were in the cast 20 years ago are back in the cast again, playing different roles.
There is one woman who's actually the president of our group at the moment, Ashley Harmon, and she was in that first show with me, Midsummer in 2001 as well. She was 15 that summer, I was 9. There are other people that I'm very close with that I would have had no reason to meet otherwise except for Gazebo. And I'm very grateful for that. And definitely I think my life would have been, a lot poorer without any of those people.
We have some new folks this year who auditioned and who are involved in the production, and that I know that they will become like family, just by default, whether or not it's just a brief interaction over the course of the play, or they decide to stick around and do other things with us in the future, which we obviously hope they will.
There's 12 of us in the cast, and 7 of us are playing multiple roles.
You counted.
Well, no, I subtracted 5. Oh. I did the math.
This is our 20th anniversary, and this is the only time we've ever done a repeat show.
Yes. Very, very intentional that we repeated for this 20th anniversary, and it is the only time. And down the line, we may repeat shows in the future, but for right now, this is a big deal. And it's a big deal that we've been around 20 years, because not all theater companies, unfortunately, make it 20 years. So it's really exciting.
20 years later, we're doing it more the way Shakespeare would have done it, where it's Midsummer Night's Dream. The play is a dream, and the people that the dreamer sees in real life show up in his dream as fairies. So the actors are playing both regular characters, and then in the dream, they're fairies.
The director's concept is Wizard of Oz.
The story, I think most people know. It basically takes place in 2 locations.
In Athens, it's all going to be in black and white, but when we enter the woods, the fairyland will be in much more colorful costumes and all.
So the costumes are a big part of this year's production. We also have original music being created by Christian Oberoi, who is playing Lysander, one of the lovers.
Only one role. That's how he has time to write music.
I play Lysander in this show. The character's name is Lysander. He is one of 4 lovers.
Hermia wants to marry Lysander. Her father doesn't want her to, wants her to marry Demetrius, so she and Lysander decide they're going to run away. Demetrius and the woman that is in love with him, Helena, chase after them, and they end up going into the woods. 2
of us take a love potion, and we end up falling in love with the wrong person. Some people haven't taken the love potion, so they're just like, what the heck is going on? The 4 of us kind of get into this whole stew in the 3rd act, and it gets really hilarious.
I am playing one of the 4 lovers, and his name is Demetrius. He's kind of a player because he wants to marry Hermia, but he had a thing with Helena, and Helena is in love with Demetrius, but he's like, you stay over there, I'm going to go for this one. So he's definitely playing the field a lot.
Lysander's kind of like your typical Shakespearean lover. He's sort of like a straight character. But what's funny is that once he takes the love potion, then he becomes a little bit unhinged. And it's like, why is he acting this way? And that's where the part does kind of become fun. What's it like to be sort of a normal, straight-laced guy who takes this love potion and suddenly you're in love with the wrong person?
In the forest, they also run into Oberon and Titania, who are the king and queen of the fairies, and they are having a fight.
The director cast me as Titania, Queen of the Fairies, doubling also as Hippolyta. I was very grateful to her, and I thanked her for not being ageist. I thought perhaps I was too old for that role, but she said there's certainly no reason why the fairy queen and king can't be an older couple. So Steve Small is playing the fairy king, Oberon, and we are having a gas.
I'm having a lot of fun this summer playing Theseus and Oberon. I still get excited, particularly on opening night. Nervous? I don't get nervous very much anymore unless I'm playing an inordinately large role.
Say this show.
if I have a lot to do.
As in this show.
Oberon decides to get back into Titania by drugging her, basically, with a flower that's going to make her fall in love with the first thing she sees. And the first thing she sees is a weaver, Bottom, who has been transformed into an ass. And, of course, much hilarity ensues. By the end, it's all sorted out. The 3 pairs of lovers actually, find themselves. They get married. Bottom becomes a human being again. They perform a very silly play at the end for the wedding, and the fairies then bless the house, and all is well. So it's a comedy in that it ends positively. Comedies in Shakespeare's time very often ended with weddings. This ends with 3 of them. Why is it popular? Because it's a pretty easy thing to understand, even though it's written in verse, a lot of it. I think most people are familiar with the story.
One of the things that's been really a pleasure to learn is that what's taught in high school is not what Shakespeare's all about. And Marianne in particular has done a wonderful job, because she has studied a lot for how to direct Shakespeare, in letting us know that it was never written to be read. It was always intended to be something that people saw and understood, and the audiences were not the educated masses of his time. So we have fun with it.
It's something that you can take the whole family to. There's no bloodshed, there's no sword fights, there's very little dancing. In fact, in this production, there's no dancing. And there's a couple of songs, but in general, it's just a light comedy.
So this year, we're very excited to bring A Midsummer Night's Dream to 3 different communities. We are performing at Belle Forge here in Medfield. We are performing in Walpole at Bird Park on the stage, with a rain space at the Walpole Footlighters. And we are in a new venue this year in Sherburne. Actually, it's our first time performing in Sherburne. We're performing at the Heritage, which is a beautiful, incredible restaurant. And they have a beautiful outdoor area that we'll be performing in under the tent. And it's very exciting because that collaboration, they are going to be able to order food from the restaurant in little picnic baskets, or food from the restaurants, and they'll have servers and cash bar, and it's going to be really fun. And at Belle Forge, I think there's some talk of possibly we're trying to get a food truck.
This year will be our first full production on the grounds of the old Medfield State Hospital that is now becoming the Belle Forge Art Center. And we're very excited to be moving to that site.
So our first scheduled performance at Belle Forge at the former Medfield State Hospital, I believe, was supposed to be 2020. So that did not happen. Our first show, Shakespeare in Shorts, we did do there last summer. And this is our first ever fully staged production at Belle Forge.
This is a new venue for us, so it's all going to be challenging. We're going to have to use a generator because there's no power there right now.
At the Gazebo, we could hook up to the library's electricity. We've performed various other places in town, but there's always been, an electrical hookup. That's a fun logistical challenge. We have to find and learn how to operate a generator.
We're excited about all of these venues, and all of these contacts have been absolutely fabulous in terms of really just the excitement. You can feel it, it's palpable when we're talking with Honor from Heritage, and when we're talking with Jean from Belle Forge, or when we're talking with the Walpole Footlighters and the wonderful folks over at Bird Park. We've been performing at Bird Park for years upon years, and we absolutely love it there too. So we've been really fortunate to have 3 incredible, different, varied venues that people can choose from. Depending on what the experience that you're looking for, you can come to one of our venues and have a very different show experience as a whole.
Well, I would invite the community to, first of all, come to our performances free. And if you want to learn more about us, you can go to our website. You can even just Google Gazebo Players of Medfield and our website should pop up.
We're always looking for more volunteers and for more people to come and join us. We're really fun, welcoming. We welcome everybody. Come and audition or be involved in a show or jump on the board. We're happy to have you, and we're excited if you want to participate and grow with us.
Just in general, this summer, I think is going to be a really great show. I think it's always a great show. Sometimes it's a weird show. That's, more a failing of Shakespeare than anything else. He writes some weird shows. This is a classic. There's a reason we're repeating it, and come and check us out.